So let us all join together and make the energy so that we, no matter where we are, that there's an energy that connects us. It's sort of like thinking of us as like pearls on a string. You know, this is a pretty big strand of pearls. So you want to think of it as that we want to like be aware of the energy that runs through each of us. And we're going to help ourselves to feel that energy by doing 3 ohms together. Okay. Om. Well, so how has it been focusing on the word silence? It's an interesting word, right? Because it's not something that comes easily. You would think it would come easily because there's no words, there's no thinking, there's no action in that sense. But why doesn't it come easy? Do you fall asleep easy every single night? For your whole life, have you always, every single night without fail, always closed your eyes and went straight to sleep, not waking up till in the morning? Silence. Sleep is definitely a representation of silence. And you can see how that can be disruptive. And here we are, honestly, not doing anything but trying to be at silence. Silence is a really big part of human life, of all life, not only on our planet, but apparently through the entire universe. I want you to remember that these laws of nature that we think of like just being here, laws of nature are not only for our planet, they're for all the planets, all life forms in the galaxy, but in the universe and beyond. But to remember that the rules of nature apply to the other realms that we consider that we can only get to because we have dropped our bodies, we have died. The other world also is nature. Don't think of it as nature, do you? It is. Why would it be anything else? So the other worlds, the worlds of light, sometimes people call it heaven, sometimes they call it lokas, other dimensions, other places. Does it exist? This realm, so to speak, of the other worlds, what we call them, is worlds of light. Light is nature. You are light. I am light. We are light. When we shed our body, we still are alive, which means we're still within nature. So everything has the same rules. We're born, we live, and we die. When we're here, it's because we died in the other world. When we're there, it's because we died in this world. It's a continuum. And the more we understand that, the more that we can start to empty our minds, because we think that we have very little time. We have to do everything right away. We're so busy, 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 busy. What are we so busy doing? We're very busy, and the busier that we become, the more noisy we become within our minds. So I'm going to ask you to do something right now. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a few moments. Don't worry, I won't stare at you. But I am going to ask you to kindly join me. I'll keep my eyes open. But you close your eyes. You don't have to, but I'm just asking you to for just a couple moments here. Just close your eyes. It's still noisy in there, isn't it? Because we close our eyes doesn't mean we have perfect silence. But you see how nature designed this body to close the eyes so that you can't see outward? If you can't see outward, it forces you to see inward, to see what's going on in your mind. So with your eyes closed right now, what do you see going on in your mind? Is it A disagreement? Is it you're worried? Do you see certain things? What's going on in there? Now open your eyes. Kindly open your eyes. Now what do you see? Not just me. What do you see? Look around your home. What do you see? Look at yourself. What do you see? Going to sleep is just like what we did. We closed our eyes, but our mind is still going. And you still see what's in your mind. So being quiet helps you to see what you're thinking. Most of the time, we don't see what we're thinking because we're busy with our eyes wide open, looking at everybody, thinking how awful they are and how ridiculous they are. Why are they in my way today? And what's going on? And what are they going to do? What are they going to say? Oh, call JV, find out. What are they doing? The thing here is quiet. We don't think of silence as medicine or medicinal, but it is. If you need healing, would we put you in a noisy room? Think about that. Somebody's really kind of ill. We're going to put them in a room where everybody's chatting? No. We know that healing requires silence. It requires sleep. Do you see how good for us it is? We don't think about it like that. We don't think that silence is healing. We're just like, oh yeah, I know I'm supposed to meditate, but it's really, really hard. I've said that. I'm sure all of you have said that before too. Sleeping can be very hard for some people on a regular basis. Some of us once in a while, just depends. Silence, you see how hard it is to do that because we're constantly on, looking, moving forward, action-oriented. But that doesn't mean that we actually have a plan of where we're moving towards or what we're even doing. Because it's very hard to be quiet enough to connect with our spirituality, with who we are. Spirituality is not loud, but it can make a huge difference. Because it isn't loud, don't ever underestimate it. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be showy because there's nothing that it has to pretend to be. The truth is silent. When we yell at someone and tell them, well, it's the truth, how bad they are, that may not be the truth. That may be our opinion. More than likely, it's our opinion or criticism or judgment in some form. We speak to ourselves like that too, and we break the silence. And every time we break the silence, it shatters. It shatters us in some way. And then what do we need? We need silence to bring us back to balance. Silence is very important. Just you closing your eyes for a few moments, if you can learn to do that throughout the day. I recommend this to people. I've probably recommended it here too. When you get in your car, sit there for 15 seconds. Just be quiet. It's hard to do. Sit there. Maybe chant something that you love. Or maybe just be quiet. And then get on the road, because many of the drivers that you're going to meet on the road are not practicing silence. And it would be to your betterment to be ready for that. If you have silence within you, you will have more focus. If you have noise within you, you will go in all different directions and it will get craziness. If you practice silence, you know where your inner strength lies. It's a practice. Any of us can jump into anger. I can, you can, we can. The practice of silence is medicinal, and it will help you to avoid really harsh language that will move from you out to another person and affect them. And then that returns back to you. It's a lot more to deal with than you had before you said those words. So the practice of silence helps us to know where our peace is. Remember, peace is not passive. Peace is silence. When you have silence in your heart, you're able to see more better. Don't you love my English? You will, though. You will find yourself opening up a lot more. What does that mean to open up? Isn't there pain out there? I don't want to open up and feel all that stuff. You already do. It doesn't matter if you want to or you don't want to. You already do feel it. It already moves through you. The more hate that's in the world will move through you, as well as me, as well as us, as well as everyone. It's a vibration. It's a sound that makes tremendous noise. Hate stirs up, and it's very, very noisy. And it wants to dominate, and noise seems to dominate silence. But if you practice silence, you know that that is not correct. Silence is where the true power lies. It's just that this many people will actually practice it. So this many people really have the power that the noisemakers really want. I'm encouraging you to always, always practice silence. If you want to be strong, particularly as you get older, you don't have the same energy to do make all that noise, but you don't want to get stagnant. So practice being silent, which is an action. It generates strength, inner strength. Inner strength moves through our bodies, moves through our minds. It moves from us through other people. If hate can move the way that I described it to you, then so can peace. It's just that people say, I just don't believe that. I don't see how peace is really going to get us anywhere. Maybe because we've seen so much war that we've become accustomed to that way of problem solving. We're not really used to problem solving through practicing peace. It requires not only more effort, but it requires more discipline over ourselves, rather than imposing our will on someone else. Peace will never be established by any human being or a country of human beings who want to impose their will on other people. It will never happen, individually or collectively. And it doesn't matter where you live. And if you think that peace is not strong, I'm here to tell you, it's a mistaken thought. I'm telling you the reason we don't have peace is because most people are not practicing it. Most human beings do not consciously practice peace. Because you practice peace doesn't mean you are at perfect peace, because it's a practice. The longer you practice it, the better you become, the stronger you become. Peace leads to freedom. Swami Vivekananda tells us this wonderful analogy about how alike the robber is to the saint. You're probably like, wait, I gotta hear this. So he says that all human beings want this perfect peace. And he describes it as we find ourselves really longing, looking for something. Everybody's always looking for something. We're all looking for that. Okay, when I get this job, I'm going to be happy and peaceful. When I get this marriage, I'm going to be happy and peaceful. When I have this child, I'm going to be happy and peaceful. All these things we put out, we kind of defer our happiness to events coming to us. So Swami Vivekananda says, a robber wants peace so much that he believes that if he has a certain object, at some point he will have that. And he's filled with desire, with passion. I want that, I need that. And when I have it, I will start to feel powerful. I'll feel better about myself. I'll have money. It'll be better. I'll be better. I want it. I want it. The person who aspires to be doing really well, to not necessarily being a saint, but being more enlightened, being more wise, that person wants the same thing. I want to feel that peace. I want to feel that wisdom moving through me. I want that. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. All of us are looking for freedom. Freedom from that terrible feeling of I'm not enough and I need more. I say this to you to help you to remember that everything that you want and everything that you need is in here. But we look everywhere. We look in our bedroom. We look next door. We look in other countries. We look everywhere. What are we looking for? For what we have already that we don't even look in that hiding place, which is why I remember the story I told you about the guru who asked his students, what's the biggest thing in the entire universe? And everyone's like, well, you know, space, of course, right? No, it's love. And where is it? It's hidden in the place that you would never look. As you're looking everywhere, all throughout the universe, you're looking for love, looking for love, looking for love, looking for love, on all the wrong places and all the right places. And bars and temples alike. You're still looking for that feeling. You're looking for it. You go into a bar, you're looking for it. You go into a temple, you're looking for it. Looking, looking, looking. What's going to come to me? What's going to come to me? So of course, we can't find it because it's hidden in the place that we will never look within ourselves because we have forgotten who we are. We don't think it could possibly be there. Who am I? I'm just this lowly being. I don't have that. I see other people, they may have it, but I don't have it. So I'm not going to look there. I'm going to continue to look in the bar, or I'm going to continue to look in this book or in this temple. I will find it. I will find it. And here it is, the shortcut. The shortcut. Because as you look inside of yourself, it will take you on all kinds of beautiful adventures. Because you still have things to work out. You still have karma to work out. But if you look and hear more for the inner strength, you will have better adventures. You will have faith in yourself. You will learn how to come to your own rescue. You will learn how to feed yourself better. Here, as well as here, as well as here. You will learn how to do these things more when you look inside, because you'll get to know yourself more and you'll know what you need more. We don't have to fight with one another, but it's impulsive. Once we start that, it's very hard not to want to do it because the energy starts to gather like a storm, and it's contagious and it can get out of control very quickly. But the more you know that what you're looking for is inside, as you're going through that storm, you can practice learning to make connection back within your own heart, back where you actually have courage to withstand the contagion called anger. We have to build up our own immune system to hate because it's contagious. And perhaps you've noticed many people are catching it. It's happening everywhere. The yogis tell us that we live in what's called the Kali Yuga, the worst of times, the age of untruth. Resonate? But in this age, it's the easiest time to become more enlightened. Easier because it's much easier to do this. Than it is to do this. It is. It's much easier in the moment and in the future, because how you deal with everything that's coming to you, like I said, goes out, it affects another person, and it comes back and affects you. That's nature. That's the law of the universe. Yes. And every thought that we have matters. Because when we look out and we see things and now we want them, I want that. More than I want anything. I'll do anything to get that one thing. I'll do anything to get that one thing. That could be one little thing, or it could be somebody wanting to overtake a country. We can become possessed by looking outside of ourselves and thinking, if I have that one thing, that one country, that one thing, that one country, I will be content. Because I will have power. What a tragic, tragic mistake that will hurt so many people if we continue to feel this way. The power you look for is empowerment. It's love. It's not our emotions. It's our humanity. It's our soul. This isn't easy. It's certainly not easy for me. I hope you don't think this is easy for me. I hope you don't think I don't make a mistake 1,000 times every day of my life, because I do. Which is why I advocate practice. You will never hear me say that I'm right where I want to be, because I'm not. Not because I feel like I have a lack, but because I keep discovering deeper silence. And as that happens, it keeps me wanting to work for that. It entices me. It draws me in. Once you start looking for that secret hiding place in here, you start to make a connection with it. It still won't let you totally in. There's codes that you have to learn, which comes from the practice. The more you practice silence, you begin to go inside more deeply, and every experience that you have in life is more profound. You're probably tired of me saying this, but the older I get, the more grateful I am every single day I have a practice. Every single day. And if you think, well, now I'm too old to have what you have, that's not true either. You have no idea how much you've practiced in other lifetimes. For you to gather here with us means that you've practiced in other lifetimes. You would have no interest to be here if you hadn't. Do not estimate yourself. Do not underestimate yourself. You have lived many, many, many lifetimes. You already have a practice within you. It's already there. You don't have to wait for me to stimulate it or anybody else. You have you. And if that's all you had, you would have everything. But it's hard to know that unless you practice. Every day, practice being quiet throughout the day. We don't have to talk as much as we do. I talk for a living, let me tell you. I know we don't have to talk as much as we do. And it can be exhausting because speaking a lot of times has attachment with it, that you want the other person to really get it, all these things. And the more attachment that there is, the more weary you will become. It can wear us out. It'll take all of that nourishment that you got from food. If you become angry, you think that anger is for free? An outburst of anger requires a tremendous amount of energy that you have inside, that you have cultivated, not only from breathing and practicing, but from eating. If you stay chronically angry, you're going to hurt yourself. We can't live like that. Mm-mm. And if you think I'm just merely talking about an outburst, I am not. I'm talking about the deeper kinds of anger also. The kind that hides because it's concentrated. Some people learn how to concentrate their anger so that other people can't see it coming. That's the robber. Still wants the same thing that you want as the seeker. But the robber has a harder path. There's more pain because they still think it's outside of them. It's the harder path. And all of us have a robber that lives inside of us, and all of us have a saint that lives inside of us. It's the proverbial devil and angel on the shoulder thing. You see, these things are just flip. They're the same thing. My hand, this is this side, this is that side, it's still my hand. Anger, patience, robber, aspirant, still the same. We're still going to the same place. We're going to self-fulfillment. Self-fulfillment. Enlightenment. Sometimes it's hard to think, I just don't know that I want perfect peace. It just seems boring. Well, because you can't imagine it right at the moment does not mean it doesn't exist. People can't imagine God either, so they make images of God like human beings. And then they say, oh no, we're made in the image of God. How we think about that is really not true. We have made God in our image, which is why I tell you, if we were cows, you'd have all the attributes of a cow. So when you think that you can't imagine what peace would look like, I understand that. I understand that. I can't imagine what perfect peace looks like either. But I feel passionate about it. I want that. That's my adventure. I want that. I don't have it. But I have enough to keep me hungry. So yes, I'm like the robber. I want more. I do want more. But I know I'm not going to find it over there. Perhaps I've been the robber 50,000 times. But I got hurt so many times, apparently, that now I only want to look for it in here. Don't think I don't make mistakes. Don't think that the robber doesn't come out and show itself, because it does. Don't let that derail you. Don't let that make you give up. Silence is a strength. It is the source of all adventure. You know, when you go to sleep and you have a beautiful dream, most people have a dream that they remember, something that's there. It's like, oh, I remember this dream I had of this beautiful place, or I remember having these dreams when I was a kid, or whatever. Where do those things live? Inside of you. Don't think that memories are just like photographs. They're not. You actually have lived those memories and they still are alive and influencing you today. I'm telling you that so that you never think of yourself just as a person who lives here and you go to work and you come home and you're exhausted. That isn't the extent of why we're here. Want more for sure, but make peace your priority. Anything else that you want, go get it. Sure. Go get that super job. Go get that beautiful husband or wife. Go get that gold, however you interpret it. But get it with dignity. Get it with self-respect. Get it with integrity. Don't cheat yourself or others. Help yourself. And when you do cheat yourself or you do cheat another person, help yourself to become aware of it and bring yourself into peace and go, okay, remember this so you don't do it again. You don't have to go, oh, you unnecessary, unnecessary, and it won't take you where you want to go. Go get anything you want. There's nothing in me that would say, no, money is bad. That's ridiculous. And it's not true. Anything that's outside of us is an extension of ourself. Everything that you see in what we call the created world, where we live, came from inside of us. Anything a computer can do, you can do, because we are the mothers of the computers. Where do you think they came from? Right here. Where do you think cameras came from? As you're looking out there, seeing things, it came from here. Telephones. Remember telegraphs? Anything that's out there that you use came from in here, came from right here. Everything that's out in the world came from in here. We are the mothers and fathers. We are the parents. We are the mothers. We created these things. Never think that they are greater than ourselves. Because if you start down that path, that means you think you are weak. And if you think you are weak, it's going to be very difficult for you to get strong. You can do it, but it's going to be a lot more difficult if you think you're weak or you're undeserving or you're just small and don't matter. You can still get to the same goal, and you will. Every human being will become enlightened at some point or another. So, you see, it's not true that you're weak because you can't stay there. You're always changing. Every adventure in life that you have will help to get rid of that. You're not weak. Think about a robber, how much strength it takes to actually do that. Whoa, I'd be too scared. I'm trying to get you to see things in a different way so we're not just so judgmental and not talking like, they're robbers. Why is she talking about that? They're human beings, and we've been robbers somewhere along the way. And don't think that we're not now. We still cheat ourselves, which makes us cheat others. We lie to ourselves, which makes us lie to others. You don't have to feel guilty and think you're bad and undeserving. You don't have to. You can if you want to. Or perhaps it's only a bad habit, and that can be broken and replaced with a good habit of I am an eternal student. I am not your teacher. I'm just a student. I've just had the privilege of sitting with thousands, literally thousands of people throughout my life, telling me about themselves. Their deepest secrets are in my heart. And that has changed me. It's helped me to know that I too am them. I make the same mistakes. And by watching them, a whole lot of different people from different backgrounds, different ethnic, monetary backgrounds, having the same problems, holy cow, it's taught me so much about myself, how alike we are, and how ridiculous it is that every time we say we're not like somebody else. I'm not like that. Did you see my face? Really? It makes us see how ridiculous racism is. Foolish. Just foolish. But it's because we don't see that we're the same. Look inside and be quiet with yourself. Stop telling yourself what an idiot you are, because you're bound to tell other people what idiots they are, and you're going to think the whole world is an idiot. And we're not. We're human beings who have lost our way. When you have lost your way, it means you're on your path. It's okay. Just because you're lost doesn't mean you can't find yourself. All you have to do is close your eyes. And there you are. And there you are again. And there you still are. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for you because you feel lost. Feel like people don't see you in the way that you want to be seen. Whatever it may be. You're looking for you. And this is the key. It's this. Practicing silence during the day will help you sleep better at night. And I know you want that. Sleep is, that's wonderful. Is there even a word for how delicious sleep can actually be? And if you haven't had it in a delicious way in a while, you know you want it. And you know you miss it. It's like missing your favorite sweetheart. You start to long for it. You think about it all day long. Oh gosh, sleep, sleep. I hope I can sleep tonight. Where is sleep? Then you go to sleep and you're just like, so you just want to merge with sleep. Right? You want silence. One of the ways to help with sleep. I have to say it this way because we're all in different places and everything, okay? But one of the ways to have a deeper, better sleep is to learn to be a bit more quiet during the day. Because as the day goes on, and then you lay down and you think that's going to stop. Because your body's exhausted doesn't mean the mind will turn itself off. It doesn't know how. It needs you. Yeah. I'm encouraging you to breathe long and slow throughout the day, to practice being aware of breathing. I know you're tired of hearing me say about this, but I figure I have to tell myself that, so I'm feeling like maybe you need it too. Look at your breath right now. Are you even breathing hardly at all? Breathe deeply and see the difference. Did you feel how your body moves, how your body expands? Your chest will expand. Your diaphragm will go down when you get really deep, long breaths. And then the diaphragm will push it back up, so all that negative air gets pushed out. See how perfect that is? It's called in with the good, out with the bad. Regeneration. People want to, they can't sleep at night, and we get up and we go to do our work. Now we can't do our work as well. Now we're frustrated because now it seems like the whole world is against us because we can't sleep and we don't even remember that that's what the problem is. Now we have no silence. Can't get it during the day because you're actually just too tired to be able to become silent. It takes strength to really get into silence, to where you're awake, you're aware, you're fully conscious. Silence means you're fully conscious. Silence means you have a clean vessel. It's not polluted with all that gunk from yesterday and last week, last month, last year, last decade. Silence cleans it out, just like sleep cleans you out. So then during the day, you have a vessel that's more empty. If you're more empty, then things move through you. They don't get stuck like a swamp. How more things come into a swamp, and a swamp is so sticky that anything more that comes into it just sticks in there. You don't want to be like that. Not in your body, not in your mind. You practice silence during the day. Practice deep breathing. If you're walking from your car, practice silence from the car to the building. If you have to get in an elevator, practice silence there. Practice being quiet. Whatever you're doing, there's time to practice silence. There is. You take a restroom break. As you walk to the restroom, practice breathing and being silent. On the way back, practice breathing and being silent. After a while, this becomes part of you, where you don't have to think about it. See, we don't think about how we breathe because nobody really taught us to breathe. So we breathe the way that we do, and we don't think about it. Once you start practicing this and you have to think about it, after a while, you won't have to think about it. It becomes your new breathing technique. It's how you survive. It's how you naturally breathe. The way that most of us breathe naturally is not really natural. It's normal. It's normal breathing. Most human beings breathe normally. Collectively, this is the norm. Why does he breathe through our mouth? This is more normal. Breathing half through our mouth, half through our nose, very shallow, very arrhythmic. Okay, don't worry about that. You can still breathe, and you can teach yourself to breathe naturally, which is long and slow. And if you practice that every day, it will become natural. And when it becomes natural, you will know where your peace lies, and you'll be able to access it every day. Your life will improve. It will become more adventurous because you're seeing things at a deeper level, a much deeper level. You'll begin to realize that God is not a human being like we project out into the sky. No. Feel free to think that if that's what you think. This is what I think. When you breathe long and slow, you start to feel what people call God. You can feel it. And that is your treasure. That's what you're looking for. That's what you've always wanted. And every time you cheat yourself, you become the robber because you still want it. You're just doing it with robber ways. Every time you do it with full intention, you become the seeker. They are in equal status. Don't think that if you're a seeker, that somehow or another you're better than the robber. This is how spiritual people get into big trouble. It's called spiritual pride. And they begin to feel like they're chosen or they're better than other people. Not true. This thing we call God is alive and well, but you have to be more quiet. You have to be more empty so you can feel it, not only in yourself, but in another person, because when you can feel it in another person, you're less likely to hurt them. you're more likely to feel their pain. Don't worry. It's all right for you to feel someone else's pain. It is all right. It's all right when you feel it to send compassion to them. If you don't feel their pain, you won't send them compassion. So it's all right to feel pain. So every time that a thought comes across your mind about someone's in pain, send them compassion. Say their name out loud and send them compassion. Or say their name out loud and send them peace, peace, peace. Send that peace to people who are harming other people. Because the robber is just too much in them, that's all. The seeker isn't growing as fast as the robber is. And remember, we all have the robber and the seeker within us. And both want to be free. We both want the same thing. The robber and the seeker want the same thing. They want that freedom. They want to be free of all of the want. Everybody, we want to be free. But you won't get it by subjugating people. We won't get it by hating people. We won't get it by causing division and shame. Won't happen. We'll all become robbers. And there's no honor among thieves. Doesn't mean we won't get where we're going. It just means it'll be an interesting detour for a very long time. We're never, ever off the path. It's not like something you have to buy a ticket to get on or requirements. You don't need a driver's license. The path, you're already on the path. You've already lived before. We wouldn't be having a conversation like this if you didn't know where the path was. You know where the path is. You would be doing something that robbers are doing right now, whatever that might be. And maybe later the robber will come alive in you and you will do those things. It's hard to say. But what I'm saying to you is remember that the robbers and the seekers are on the same path. And eventually we'll all get what we want, which is freedom. Freedom from wanting, 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 wanting. We will. The robber and the seeker, they're both looking for the same thing. We don't have to judge people as bad or good for that matter, because once you do that, the good will fall. Very important. Thank you. Sorry. I get so involved with speaking to you. I can hear it for myself too, that I lose track of time. If you've ever had an appointment with me, you know I do it there too. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll get better with that. I have other things to concentrate on. I hope that you're starting to see that silence helps us to not be so judgmental of the robber or of the seeker. We don't need to be so judgmental of either side. We all have a robber that lives inside of us. We all have a seeker that lives inside of us. They're just two sides of the same coin on the same path. 2 feet. Sometimes you put the robber foot forth first, and then you get ouch burned, and you put the seeker hand forward, but it wasn't strong enough. So we keep going back and forth, until finally they do this. The robber and the seeker do this. And then we become healed. Then we get what we're looking for, which is that peace, which we really can't imagine. But the more that you practice silence, you get a better vision of what peace feels like, what it feels like. Like I've told you, so many people, including you, that I've sat with, who have showed me, I can see that they got peace right here, right here. And I see them looking for it over here. And they're looking for it over here. They're looking for it back here and up there, and around there. And I go, oh my gosh, I'd have looked in all those places too. Absolutely, I would. Probably have. But it's here. And when you find it here, when you find it within yourself, then you can project it to all those places that you were looking for before that you couldn't find it. All those places that were there that you couldn't find it in, once you find it here, then you can project it out into all of those places because you know where those places are that are empty and need peace. Now you can send it. And you can do that right now. You have the ability to send peace. And as you send peace, you become more aware of it, that you're doing something. When we sit at home and go, oh yeah, the world's a mess. I can't do anything about it. Have you lost your humanity? Then find it. Look inside. Oh, that's where I put it. It was there all along. Pick it up, take it out for a walk. Exercise our humanity. If you're looking out in the world and you see how bereft, how sorrowful it is, then send your compassion. If there's somebody in your life that you feel is torturing you, I say feel, not actually. There's varying degrees of everything I'm saying. Know that their robber is just in charge. That's all. And know that your robber could have been in charge yesterday. So just send them a little compassion to help them to remember what they really want, which is silence from all of that angst of I want, I want, I want. We could look at any news channel, any story about what's going on in the world, and you can see people who are very powerful being very, very hungry. They are not satisfied. They want more and more power. You know why? Because they have no idea what it feels like to be empowered. No idea. They have become like addicts. I have to have more and more and more. I have to be the leader of the world. I have to have everybody looking at me. I have to be that person. That person is bereft. And the robber has taken over. So the seeker is in the heart going, hello? Hello? It's still there. It will never go away. Never, 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 never. But you have to want it. You have to desire peace. And the only place to find it is in silence. Practice silence. You don't have to meditate for an hour a day. You're not going to anyway. If you sit down for an hour and you're not used to doing it, you won't be meditating. You'll be chasing your thoughts around. It'll only distress you how noisy it is in there. I'd love to tell you I could sit for a full hour and have perfect peace, but it's not true. I have had that experience, but they have been in perfect conditions, which I am grateful for so that I can feel that and I can remember that. But my job is to do it in imperfect conditions. And that's your job too. to find that peace in imperfect conditions. And if you're like, yeah, but I don't know what it really feels like. You do. You've had at least one night of perfect sleep. Somewhere in there in your mind, you remember what it feels like to have perfect sleep. And then you wake up absolutely ready to go. You know how, like, when you see little children sleep, you know, when they're in that sleep and they go like, they are gone. Where are they? They're on the other side of the universe. You know, they're in that perfect sleep and they wake up and what do they have? Oh my God, so much energy. And they're so happy. Let's go. Let's go. You see, you know silence. You were a child. You know sleep. You were a child. You know how to rejuvenate yourself. You know how to overcome. It's just that we got caught up in all the noise in our head. And all the noise of anybody you're sitting next to. All the noise that's out in the world, running through the air, coming in through the windows into your home that you think is so peaceful. Yeah. We all have to work really hard to have peace. It takes a tremendous amount of effort to become effortless. So peace, we have to put our effort towards peace. We have to put our effort towards silence in order for it to be within us effortlessly. Don't think that any one class or any one book or anything will do the trick. You'll be cheating yourself like the robber. If I only do this, like they say, I'm going to have perfect peace in 10 days. Learn to meditate in 60 seconds. Okay, somebody's robbing somebody there. And there's no goal. Don't be ambitious about it. There's no goal. I have no idea what perfect peace feels like, but I know it's there because I have more peace than I've had before. And the kind of peace I have now, I had no idea I would have that when I was in my 20s. No. How would I know? You see what I mean? When people say this is what God wants, this is what God looks like, stop it. Because we don't have the imagination to go beyond what we know, stop it. Things are much larger than you can ever imagine right now. The deeper you go into your own silence, you begin to cultivate deeper feelings that you haven't had before. There's nothing boring about spirituality. It's an adventure. It will take you where you really want to go. You will have more energy. You will have more aspirations. You will want to unite with others. You will, because you will want to be part of humanity. Right now, people don't all want to be part of humanity because they're thinking that other people are bad, which implies that you're not. We all have the robber inside of us. We all have the seeker inside of us. You must decide for yourself who you want to be around. But if you choose not to be around somebody, help yourself not to send them hate. Just be away from them. It will help. You'll have more adventures when you pluck these things out of your head. You'll have a greater imagination to dream, to visualize. This world isn't going to correct itself on its own. Only if most of us can start to dream the same dream, which is us working together. Each of us self-reliant, bringing our self-reliance to unite, to be an allied force. We all have to dream bigger. It's not enough to conquer other people, to walk over to them and go up the ladder, as they say. You'll never get where you're going climbing that ladder. There's nothing up there. It's right here. Climb all you like. Like the yogis say, take as much from life as you want, but don't get attached, because as soon as you get attached, you're going to be fearful that someone's taking it from you. And you're going to be thinking that everybody's taking something. And you can see that there are people in the world who want to take things from everyone. They've just become expert robbers. But the seeker still is alive and well, like I've told you. This is a lot to ponder on when it comes to silence. You thought that it was just going to be silent. I could have showed up and just been silent the whole time. That probably would have worked too, you know. But anyway, I thought that it would be good to remember about the robber and the seeker to help us to eliminate judgment and to unite. Robbers and seekers can come together, will come together, because we're all human beings. We are humanity. So the word that we're going to be meditating on for this month, for July, is the word purity. So the Sabatura of purity is contamination. So you see how silence is leading us into purity? And in Vedanta, the philosophy of the yogis, they say that the first step to anything that you're doing is purity. It's like if you want to have something to drink, you want a clean glass, right? So the first step to anything in spiritual life, so you never go away from purity. It's not like you get pure and that's it. No, it's like a glass. You have to clean it out every day. So we want to continue our practice of silence and utilize it with the word purity, so that we understand that we can get contaminated by sitting in our own home, you know, listening to our own robber talking us out of the seeker side of things, okay? And really work with purity, really work inside, and you decide what that means for yourself. Be self-governing. The more self-governing, the more self-reliant each of us are, the more united we can become. Remember, this isn't about us feeling special about ourselves. This is about us knowing that all human beings are a treasure. Perfect timing. So we're going to have questions. We're going to do 3 ohms, so that those that need to leave, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. Namaste. Let's do 3 ohms, and then those that want to stay for the next 20 minutes or so, please do. Sorry. Thank you so much for being here. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Okay, so anybody have a question? Oh, sorry.
No question.
Question, anyone? Wow, perfect silence. I love that, actually. That'll be next month. Okay, so somebody is asking about contamination. If it's all light and energy, would you talk to contamination? So where do you think contamination comes from? So let's say that there's no humans. here in Southern California, the land can still become contaminated for humans, right? Because there can be things here that are poisonous, that are not good for humans to live there. It doesn't mean that the plants are bad, that are poisonous. It means that they're trying to defend themselves, but maybe there's a toxin that they emit that's bad for humans. So it contaminates us. So it's all already part of nature. It's part of the robber. It all depends on how you look at things and how you treat things. Contamination is always here and it spreads. If you leave food out and you don't realize that you left it out too long, it can hurt you. You get contaminated from it, you see? If I allow myself to stew and brew on anger for long periods of time, eventually I'm contaminated because now I have to rid myself of it. Contamination is something you have to rid yourself of. You have to heal yourself. You have to help yourself to become pure. If you are sick, you have to help yourself to eliminate the disease so that you can become healthy again. They're always there together. So yes, everything still is all light. Everything still is all energy. Because when I drop this form, I will be light and energy just like I am now. I just have this fabulous costume on right now so that I can live on this planet. As each of your costumes are just equally fabulous. We have to have it in order to be in this dimension. But once we, as we say, die, we don't die. But the form has to die. It has to go back to the earth. It has to go back to where it came. And we go back to where we came, which is the other worlds, which is where we reside when we're not living here, which means we're still alive, which means we're always light. We're always light. There's different degrees of light and different colors of light, just like I've told you before about our auras. How your aura looks is only because of how you think and how you feel, how you burn, you know, your thoughts create energy. What are the quality? What are you burning? If you burn things that create a lot of smoke, remember that your aura is in front of you, because you see auras and pictures and they're out on the sides. So people think that an aura is just like around here. It's right here. You have to look through it. It is your windshield. And when you've been thinking some really negative thoughts, your windshield gets very dirty. Now you don't have the water in your wipers there, you know, it's out. So now you have the streak. Now you have to drive looking through all that. So that's you and me. So when we're upset or things are happening that are negative in our life, we have to look through that. And then you know what happens? We project that onto others. And then we decide, those people are bad over there. Look at them. They got dirt all over them. Because that's what your windshield is looking like. You have to look through your own mind in order to see another person. If your mind has contamination, dirt on the windshield, you will project that onto others and only see that in them. And they to you. So we're still all light. We're still all energy. Be careful not to become too analytical about this process, because it'll make a lot of noise. Always ask questions of yourself and others, absolutely. But you don't want to leave this life thinking that you have more answers than questions. That's not good. Leave here with far more questions than answers, because that means you're still an adventurous being. You're still on the quest. You know there's a lot more out there in the universe to learn. See, what we do is we start to think that we know everything. I already know how it goes. I know about the world. I know everything. I already know how people are going to be. This is how it is. Once you do that, your adventures, not so many. Not so many. You want to stay clean, purity. You want to stay open so that you can see better. So you see where you're going, so that you can see a trail. Oh, look at that mountain. We never went up there before. because you couldn't see it. Now suddenly you can see it. And that takes us to a whole nother level. Right? That's a lot better. That's a lot better. So you see, these are kind of overlapping. Silence and noise. Purity and contamination. It's just another way of looking at a very similar kind of thing. Don't get judgmental of yourself. Be careful. Don't decide you're bad. Because once you decide that you're bad, what choice do you have but to be bad? Once you decide that you're undeserving, what choice do you have but to be undeserving? And then when people don't give to you, you'll be like, see, it proved itself out again. Well, it originated with you. You have to let go of that feeling of being undeserving. Then you won't project it onto others. And whatever they give you, you will be very grateful. You won't feel undeserving. You'll be like, wow, they hardly have anything, and that's what they gave me. Other questions? Yeah, I think we're satiated, aren't we? Well, I guess we're full of silence, which is definitely better than being full of some other things, right? We don't want to be full of a swamp. I am really grateful that you're here today. Really, I'm very, very grateful. I always learn so much about myself being here. So thank you for the free education. I appreciate it. Peace to all of you and to your loved ones and to those that are around you that perhaps are more difficult to love. Peace, peace, peace.